What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on Kevin Durant and something that I have been noticing about Kevin Durant as far as like the respect that Kevin Durant receives around the league from his peers and other players, right? So now, and the reason why I bring this up is because the Phoenix Suns recently just played against the Los Angeles Lakers, right? And they lost, and to me, it just seemed like Phoenix Suns were never really in the game. They trailed probably, I think, by like about 10 or 12. And every time they cut into the lead or get it pretty close, it would go, like the Lakers would take the lead again. And then a couple times I watched Luka Doncic kind of like show up Kevin Durant, and he gave him a move and scored on him. Then and they, he kind of just like showed him up. And so for somebody who is supposedly as great as Kevin Durant, which I do think he's a great ball player. I don't think that Kevin Durant he maximized his talent, the way he could have. But I do think Kevin Durant is a great ball player, right? Great basketball player. But I have been noticing that Kevin Durant, like last year in the playoffs, when the Phoenix Suns were going against who was it? It was Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Like Anthony Edwards he also showed him up. And so my thing is when you have an elite basketball player, supposedly one of the greats, and other players feel confident enough to show you up and to talk smack to you because they know or they think that there are no repercussions for doing that. I never saw, people talk stuff to Kobe, but when Kobe talked stuff, when they talk stuff to Kobe made him pay the price. Same thing with Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. It was a price to pay, right? And with Kevin Durant, most of the time, there's no consequences to talking. Even early in his career, people really didn't respect him like that. Respect him like in a way that that you would respect a ball player that is a sure enough, like Mike was just, and Kobe, those guys was just like killers. Larry Bird was the same way. So if you talk, you don't want to talk stuff to those kind of ball players because you're going to motivate them to take their game to another level, which a level that most other players don't have. So players kind of avoid that. They didn't want to tick those guys off. But I don't see the same with Kevin Durant. I don't see. As a matter of fact, I've never seen it. Even when he was at OKC, I never seen him just like, just like somebody just really just piss him off, and then he just go off and score like 10, 15 straight points and just take over the game and dominate it, right? And so when you don't see that from a franchise type ball player or star ball player, that kind of lets the other ball players know that there's a chink in his armor, right? And so with Kevin Durant, with his game, and I've noticed over the last couple years that if you play Kevin Durant physical, you play him physical, and you have the athleticism and the length to affect this shot at least a little bit, you can throw him off his game. And that's what I saw with Jason Tatum did that to Kevin Durant, a couple years back. And like I said, last year you had Anthony Edwards who was challenging him, and just really trying to show him up in the playoffs. And back in the day, like any of those other guys, and you can just pick a name, any of those old school guys, you couldn't get away with that from them. It's that would motivate them to take their game to a different level. And so I think the thing is with Kevin Durant, because he don't all he wants to do is just show up and hoop and not really raise his game to another level. He don't have that extra gear that you would want a franchise superstar ball player to have. And I know that like Kevin Durant's career is closer to being over than it is even to being like close to the middle. Like he's got less time left. It's so much water under the bridge for Kevin Durant. And so that's why you see other players, and it's evident. Like I said, when I saw Phoenix playing the Lakers yesterday, and Luka, and it was another ball. I think it was Austin Reeves, dunked and was yelling and stuff, and was kind of in Kevin Durant's face. Back in you couldn't get away with that from other franchise ball players, man. They wouldn't say anything, but they would just take their gear, even at an older age. It just would motivate them to take their game to another level. I remember I just recently watched a video where Michael Jordan, when he was playing with the Wizards, and who was the guy? Jalen Rose, right? Scored. He scored and dunked and went off on the Wizards, and it just motivated Mike to take his game to another level. The next two games, Mike scored 96 points. When they had lost to Indiana, he only scored 8 points that game, and that was like his streak was lost because he had like hundreds of games or so where he had scored at least 10 points. And this game he scored like 8 or 9 points. And Jalen Rose was talking stuff, to Michael Jordan, saying he was overrated and stuff like that. And so the next two games, man, Michael Jordan just went off, but you never get that out of Kevin Durant. And I think the reason why, like I said, the reason why you don't get that is because Kevin Durant never really pushed himself. He only wanted to just play basketball. He just wanted to show up and not take his game to another level and be pushed. So now that's why he's in the situation that he's in. Like the team is they shopping him around for a possible trade. And so that is all his. That's all because of him. That's not because of Phoenix. I spoke with some guys earlier, and I said, do you think that this, Kevin Durant situation is a failed situation, or what does this say? The fact that Phoenix want to trade Kevin Durant, what does this say about Kevin Durant? And they were like, well, I don't say nothing about Kevin Durant. It says, that Phoenix realized that this was a failed experiment, which I don't agree with. I think it says everything about Kevin Durant because, like I said, when your players get older, like a franchise ball player, teams most of the time want to hang on to them. They want to continue to build around them, but because Kevin Durant has shifted around from team to team, the Phoenix Suns really don't have any loyalty to him. So they don't really feel any connection. They don't feel like, they don't feel confident that if they bring in the right pieces around him that he can perform. And the reason they don't feel like that is because he never did. Just look at Steph Curry, and like what he's doing in Golden State. Like Golden State has brought in the piece that they needed to help really just like add another spark to his career. No way. Even when Golden State, before they even got Jimmy Butler, nobody was even. It was never on their mind to trade Steph Curry and move on from Steph Curry. And that's because he has been loyal to that team and that fan base. So, and he's proven to them that he can win. And he's been, there's just a loyalty and a relationship there. Kevin Durant don't have that. And I think had Kevin Durant stayed in one team for for the bulk of his career, I think just imagine Kevin Durant if he was still at OKC. How much equity he would have built up with that team, and how much that would have improved his game, mentally, and physically. No doubt that Kevin Durant, physically one of the best basketball players that I've ever seen, but he didn't push himself mentally to that next level, and that's what it's all about. Like, the physical talents with Kevin Durant always been there. But for him to want to, just show up and play basketball and not push himself mentally to be mentally tougher, I think that's why you have ball players who feel emboldened and feel like they can challenge him and to talk stuff to him and show him up. And it's all his fault. He didn't allow himself to grow his basketball game, to grow mentally, and so this is the results of that. And so that's my take. That's why I think that today's NBA ball players, they don't respect Kevin Durant like that. They don't fear him like the way teams feared Mike. They feared Kobe. They feared Larry Bird. They don't fear Kevin Durant like that. And it's all Kevin Durant's fault. And so that's my take on it. I just noticed that when I watched them play, and I was like, you know what? These guys, even late, like I said, even later on in Mike and Kobe's career, there was a certain amount of respect there because people, they knew what Mike and Kobe could do. They just could have flashes of brilliance, even when they were later in their career, and you didn't want to disturb that as and you wound up getting showed up if you wake up that sleeping giant. But Kevin Durant is not. He's a sleeping giant that nobody's afraid to wake up. And so, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.